checking my email every 5 minutes to get the answer. But I also have an example of the ego for me in a part of my life being a good thing. Like I've told this story where I was bullied and then I discovered training. And that was kind of like my defense or surviving mechanism to cope with all that. So I really needed to have an ego to even exist, basically, to be someone. So me doing all the training and getting bigger and muscular and getting confident, like that was my way to cope with it. Of course, in the long term, I realized that and I understand I had to get rid of it. But on that period of the time, it was a good thing for me. So it's funny how it's not always your enemy. Sometimes you need that to get out of something.
That's where it's sneaky, though, is right in those moments, because you could have went two ways. Could have went the way you're going now, which in my opinion is the right way, or you could have let the ego guide you and then just get all into your muscles and like, now I could be a bully. Now I could push people around. Now exactly. I get to be that person. Yeah, and that's what it does is like we get those choices, and that's what the ego, like that's why you want to know what the ego is, because it's going to tell you to go one way or the other. You want to make sure you're picking the right way.
Yeah, like the self-awareness.
Yeah, it is. And like that's that saying that I just heard the other day from Rogan, which is truly amazing. And it kind of coexists with this, but I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And like that's what you and I kind of turned into. It's not the fact that like, we work out for our ego or to build it up or anything like that, but like it really makes you this beast mentally and physically. And it gives you this confidence to go and kill it in life. And, that right there is going to benefit you immensely in your future, rather than if you're going to sit back and be a gardener in a war and then you're basically getting caught with your pants down in every situation and you're not equipped to deal with it, right? That's what I loved about this saying.
And what I loved about this phrase, and that's why we complete each other so good, is you were focusing on the warrior part. You're saying like, of course you need to be a warrior, you need to be ready for everything. You need to make sure you're healthy and strong and all that shit. And I was like I was more focusing on creating a garden instead of a war. So to be a warrior in a garden, I was focusing more like, hey, let's create a garden as our surroundings. So
yes.
Those partial, like that's really cool how that went.
Yeah, you gave me a different perspective on it, and I appreciate that. That's so much with you, because it's like the yin and yang, like we talk about a lot. Because really, my past was pretty crazy, and I could get a little bit into it, but like I fought a lot. I fist fought a lot when I was a kid, too much, and really catered to my ego. I was a very egotistical person, and this was something that really jacked my life up. And it made me think I had to be this warrior. It made me think I had to fight all the time and always defend and always, be ready. And that's just not the case. It really isn't. Like, it's more of like having the confidence of knowing you could do it, but you don't need to bring it out. And I just kept bringing it out and bringing it out with me everywhere I went. And, that was definitely a big part of my ego that I had to tame and get a hold of to start to understand myself and then better my future. Without that, I wouldn't have gotten here. There's no way.
Exactly. The fact that you got aware of it is already a major leap in the right direction. Like from there, you can consciously make a choice.
Yeah, and I think like this too, man. Like, since I was never like this, like most of my older friends, if I were to like get back in contact with them and they were to try to like, understand who I am now, I don't think they could. Like, I'm such a different person, man. And like, I'm very, very thankful of getting hold of my ego. Like, I've really begun to realize at a very deep level of how many people are infected by it, and they're not even aware, because I wasn't. I'm like, I used to tell myself it all the time. I'm not egotistical. I was a very good person. I always had good morals and did good things. But like, my ego would sabotage every decision I made, because it would tell me to like, go out for the money, or just this person's looking at you wrong, so you better go fight them, or just do all the wrong things when I wasn't really like aware of it. I thought I was doing the right thing. That's the sneaky thing about it.
Exactly. And that's the weird thing with buying stuff. Like I always say, if you're really into something, like if I'm going to be rich, I'm going to have a beautiful guitar, of course, because I fucking love to do that.
Absolutely.
So then you do it for the right reason. The same with your studio, right? But you need to ask yourself the why. Like, why am I doing this? Are you really into cars? Okay, of course it's to buy a beautiful car. Or are you doing it to have status, or to look high, or rich, or whatever? Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're never going to be happy if you end up doing that all the time.
Yeah, that's you're exactly pinpointing what you got to do with your ego in those moments. Is you got to look at it in detail. Like, what are you doing it for? Are you really a car person? If you're not, like, you're just doing this for status and just to brag. And that's going to lead to very dark places in your future if you continue on and don't get a hold of it and aren't aware.
Exactly. And we're always going to have some part of it in us that's still going to focus on the ego. It's okay. Like, I have that as well. Sometimes when I do something, I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like, why do I want to impress that person? Like, I don't give a shit. But sometimes I get caught in my own, like, I say don't focus on the ego, and then I start doing it. It's like, okay, of course, we're all into this, and sometimes in the small details, we're still going to have that. But if in the big lines in your life, you are able to not focus on that and just focus on your own happiness without the thoughts of others, like, that's the direction too. Of course, you're going to get caught up every once in a while, but just be aware of that fact. Like, that's already a step.
Yeah, and that's like, it's one of the main rules of Stoicism is ask yourself at each moment, is this necessary? And that's the key to it, is you're able to go into your mind and be like, what am I doing here? Like, this isn't even necessary. And then when you realize that, move on. Bring in something that's necessary. This is going to fix your future. It's going to fix all kinds of things in your life. And instead of hurt you, it's going to benefit you or not waste your time anymore.
Exactly. And I have a cool example of me still getting into the ego. Like, whenever I take my shirt off when it's warm outside, people always judge straight away, like, you do it to show off, right? But if it's hot outside, I just want to be comfortable and generally take my shirt off. And then I was like not doing it anymore because I was still caring what other people were judging about me. It's like, now I'm not taking my shirt off because people are going to judge that I do it for the ego or something. I was like, wait, now I'm still caught up in the same thing, but just backwards. I'm like, fuck that, I'm going to still do it because I want to do it. I don't care about anything else. It's like this reverse psychology. Was really weird to think about.
That's what it's doing, is sabotaging you there. Same thing happens to me because I don't want to brag. I really don't ever want to put it out there that, like, check me out, I'm bragging. But at the same time, I'm proud of what I built here. Like, this took years. It's super hard to do what you and I have done. And, like, I battle with that exact same thought, man. And I feel the same way now. I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging at all. Like, when we work out, it's super hot. I start off in a sweater all the time and I end up with no shirt on. That's how I work out. So yeah, dude, I hear you. I totally agree there.
So that's cool that you experienced the same thing.